evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 24th of October. One militant killed in encounter with security forces in India's Kashmir. International agencies struggle to provide aid in Afghanistan as refugees return in unprecedented rates. And Theravada Buddhists celebrate offering robe festival in northeastern India. And now for all the details, 2 Indians, including a border guard and a 6-year-old boy, were killed as Pakistani troops resorted to heavy firing, violating the ceasefire agreement between the two countries during the wee hours of Monday. A report.
Pakistani Rangers resorted to heavy mortar shelling along the international border with India's northern province of Jammu and Kashmir. One personnel of the Indian Border Security Force also sustained injuries in the cross-firing. Reportedly, Pakistani troops launched heavy firing and mortar shelling along border villages of the province on Sunday night. Hundreds have been evacuated from villages along the frontier following frequent ceasefire violations. Meanwhile, one militant was killed in an encounter with security forces in the Kupwara district. Tension between the two neighbors escalated sharply after India launched surgical strikes against Pakistan-based militants on September 29. This was in response to the terror attack on an army base in Uri sector of the province, in which 19 Indian soldiers were killed. India blames Pakistan-based terrorists for the attack.
Moving on, exiled Kashmiri leaders and locals denounced the invasion of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province by Pakistan on the occasion of Black Day. It was on this day in 1947 when Pakistani forces in disguise of tribal militants attacked the province and occupied parts of the region.
Exiled Kashmiri leaders and locals in India's Jammu and Kashmir province observed Black Day, remembering the brutal attack by Pakistan on their people on October 22, 1947. On this day, the Pakistani army, disguised as tribal invaders, attacked the princely undivided province of Jammu and Kashmir and indulged in plunder and killing of innocents on an unprecedented level. To mark the day, a series of demonstrations and seminars are held by Kashmiris in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, India's northern Jammu and Kashmir, and across the globe as well.
आज के दिन हम बिलखुसूस यूनाइटेड कश्मीर पीपल्स नेशनल पार्टी, यूके ब्रांच और यूरोप और बिलहुमूम कश्मीरी जो हैं, तमाम कश्मीरी पाकिस्तान से ये मुतालबा करते हैं कि वो अपनी फ़ौजें गलगित बल्तिस्तान और आज़ाद कश्मीर से निकाले और हिंदुस्तान के साथ पुरअमन तौर पर टेबल टॉक करे और प्रॉक्सी वार को ख़त्म करते हुए इनिशिएटिव ले और मसला कश्मीर के हल के लिए कोशिश तेज़ करे.
The Pakistani state devastated large parts of Jammu and Kashmir, violating the standstill agreement between Pakistan and the then king of Jammu and Kashmir. This ultimately resulted in the death of thousands of innocent people.
कि 22 अक्टूबर को पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जम्मू कश्मीर पे हमला किया गया था. इस दिन मुजफ्फराबाद का फाल हुआ और लाखों लोग जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान की जो सेना है उनके साथ मिलकर कबाइलियों ने मुजफ्फराबाद, श्रीनगर और बारामूला के काफ़ी हिस्सों में उन्होंने लाखों लोगों को वहाँ पे मारा. इसके अलावा मीरपुर, कोटली, भिम्बर, यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान की बर्बरता जो थी वो उसका बखान नहीं किया जा सकता.
Pakistan army, which was then pushed back, continued to occupy some parts of Kashmir illegally.
Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, the government and aid agencies are struggling to cope with the wave of Afghan refugees returning from Pakistan and Iran. The rate of influx of Afghan returnees have spiked in recent times due to the border issues with neighboring countries.
As Afghan refugees continue to stream back to their home countries in unprecedented rates, international organizations have been left to scramble to provide aid as winter approaches. According to the United Nations, more than 500,000 Afghans returned from Pakistan and Iran this year, which is straining the capacity of the government and aid agencies. At Torkham, the busiest border crossing between Afghanistan and Pakistan, nearly 170,000 Afghans returned this year, many of them citing harassment by Pakistani authorities as relations between the two countries deteriorated. In September, the United Nations issued an appeal for millions of dollars of emergency funding to help returning refugees and other internally displaced people in Afghanistan, but the fundraising has yet to reach its goal.
Response has been initially quite positive, with a number of donors giving money, but out of the 150 million we requested, we've only got 48 million so far, and our costs are certainly going to be running quite high over the winter period.
Analysts say that while the challenge of helping Afghan returnees require immediate attention, international community should work with Afghanistan, Pakistan and Iran to try to solve their border problems that is driving the crisis.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal government has formed a foreign aid coordination and facilitation committee with the participation of China, India, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. The committee would encourage national and international development partners, civil societies and private sectors for the monetary and technical assistance to the rehabilitation of the earthquake survivals and rebuilding of the damaged structures. The neighboring countries, along with multilateral institutions, had committed the largest amount of aid for the post-earthquake reconstruction of Nepal, which suffered 7.8 magnitude tremor on April 25, 2015, in which nearly 9,000 people were killed. An 8-year-old Indian girl has made way to the Guinness World Record by performing the most number of forward rolls in an hour.
Eight-year-old Diksha Giri set a new world record by completing 2,787 forward rolls in an hour. She broke the record set by American Ashrita Furman in Bulgaria in 2007 with 1,330 forward rolls. Girish covered a distance of almost 3 miles while rolling.
She has finished she has finished rolls. 2,787 rolls in 1 hour. That is in kilometers 4.456 kilometers in 1 hour she has finished. In miles 2.767 miles she has finished in 1 hour.
Under the coaching of Baswaraj, Girish had been practicing for the attempt since a year and a half. The forward roll is one of the most basic elements in gymnastics. According to rules set by Guinness World Records, the participants' hands or fingers should not touch the ground at any point during their attempt.
Traders in India have called for boycott of Chinese goods ahead of the festival of Diwali. With China's stand against India's membership bid to the nuclear suppliers group, the move is likely to gain support.
Traders across India urged people to boycott Chinese products ahead of Diwali, the country's festival of lights, amid Beijing's opposition to New Delhi's membership of the elite nuclear suppliers group, or the NSG. China, a long-standing ally of Pakistan, has rebuffed India's calls for the United Nations to designate Maulana Masood Azhar, leader of the Jaish-e-Mohammed group that India blames for recent cross-border attacks, as a terrorist. Every year, Chinese products like fancy lights, crackers and a host of decorative items flood Indian markets. Elaborate designs and cheaper prices of Chinese products cause huge losses to Indian counterparts.
हम लोग चाइना में डील नहीं करता, हम लोग मंगाया नहीं है कभी आगे, ना कभी मंगाता है हम लोग, और ना ही हम लोग कभी आगे मंगाएंगे इसके। लेकिन मैं एंड कंज्यूमर से यही रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि चाइना फायरवर्क जो उसको मत यूज़ कीजिए।
In the run-up to Diwali, people across the country splurge on buying a host of new items for their homes and gifts like clothes, jewellery and sweets for their loved ones. It is considered auspicious to make new purchases at this period. But the invasion of Chinese electric goods into Indian markets has made the traditional earthen lamps or diyas take a back seat. Diyas, which are considered auspicious, has now slipped off the priority list of festival shoppers. India has expressed concern over the trade deficit that touched $46 billion last year. In September this year, data showed India had exported goods worth $922 million to China and imported goods worth $5.4 billion.
People in India's northeastern Assam celebrated an annual Buddhist festival with fervour. The festival is marked by offering robes to the monks.
Scores of devotees celebrated Kathin Chibara Dan, a Buddhist festival in India's northeastern Assam province with great zeal. Kathin Chibara Dan, which literally means offering robe, is an annual Buddhist festival during which devotees offer different items to wanderer monks, including clothes woven on their own looms. Chibara is the robe that Buddhist monks wear. Devotees took out a procession on the occasion, lit candles and offered prayers in a local temple. Many tourists gathered in Jorhat district to witness the celebrations.
This is the very sacred function. This is called the Kathina Sibara. They make the robe within the night. They will prepare the robe that the monks clothes. No, within this the night they will prepare, and this is very sacred for the Buddhism. And we do feel very happy and feel very proud to offering the robe to the monk.
The festival is held within a month after the full moon night in the Hindu month of Ashwin. Kathin Chibara Dan also marks the conclusion of a seclusion period for monks who meditate for 3 months.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. One militant killed in encounter with security forces in India's Kashmir. International agencies struggle to provide aid in Afghanistan as refugees return in unprecedented rates. And Theravada Buddhists celebrate offering robe festival in northeastern India. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow.